Hi everybody, my name is Cassie Lavoie. I am your Laurentian librarian and I'm responsible for helping you with your research, doing in-class sessions, and making purchases for our library here. I'm sorry I couldn't be here today, but I hope you'll find this video helpful. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. I'll have my contact information and office hours up towards the end of the presentation. So this is a quick agenda of what we'll be covering today. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's all really valuable skills that you'll be using over and over again. So first we're going to start with getting around the library website, better research, being faster and more efficient, our search strategies. This includes Boolean searching, which you may or may not be familiar with. We're not searching Google anymore for our academic purposes. I'll show you some core resources that I think you should be aware of. We're going to talk about citation mining, which you'll see will be a really valuable tool when you're searching for other articles. We'll talk a little bit about RefWorks as well, which is a great bibliographic tool, and I hope you'll use it because it is a really wonderful service that we subscribe to. And my final slide, I'll just talk about my contact information and where I am and when. So let's get started. This is basically how we're going to get around our library website. Maybe you were aware of this already, but if you weren't, Anthropology actually has a research guide. It is awesome. My colleagues and I have written up on these research guides for all the different disciplines, and why it's so great is that you can actually navigate all of your anthropology resources just by navigating this page. So you can see here we have all these different tabs. And we're going to get started. So that's going to offer you some encyclopedias and handbooks, which I'll talk about later. It'll tell you how to get books, how to get articles, human relations area files, which you might be using either for this course or for your other anthro courses. We have citing sources, which will take you directly to style guides and RefWorks. And probably the most important one will be anthropology databases. That will be a comprehensive list of everything you're going to want to use when you're doing your anthropology research. It's quite straightforward to follow. It's really just a matter of clicking the links and getting some exploring done. So we're going to talk about searching better, faster, more efficiently. And my number one tip will be to learn and absorb before you start searching. It's always a good idea to know what you're interested in, but before you start making arguments or thesis statements, I really strongly encourage you to start learning as much about your topic as you can. And this isn't starting with jumping right into journal articles. What you should be doing is beginning your search with books and reference sources. So I'm talking about encyclopedias and handbooks, and an example of which I have in a later slide. This will form the foundation of your knowledge of your topic, because without that foundation, your paper probably won't be that solid. It's really difficult to make an argument when you're not sure of all the ins and outs of your topic. And a really fun fact I'd like to point out is that journal articles are actually written by the scholar under the assumption that you already know and have an understanding of the topic. So you will not find the foundational information that you're going to need in your own essay. So don't expect to find really great foundations in journal articles. And this is why books are your friend. If you think about it like this, journal articles have maybe 20 to 30 pages to really delve into a really specific area of a topic. Books have the luxury of having hundreds of pages of foundation and detail that are ultimately going to help you get a more sound understanding of your topic. This is probably the most important point I can push, especially when you're just beginning your research. And all the while you're doing this, you're going to identify key concepts and keywords of your topic. Keep a running list of key scholars, key subjects, key subtopics that might come about that will help you inform your paper. And you'll also think of synonyms for each of your key concepts and this will help you find a broader selection of resources, which I will be talking about a little bit later. So I know that we're maybe the equivalent of distance education students because we are so far from Sudbury. We don't have the luxury of the huge collection that they have. That being said, we do have a great way to get books from either Sudbury and also any other Ontario University library that you can think of. And this is called Racer. So Racer is our interlibrary loan service, which you can use for not only books, but also journal articles. You can access it through our library website through interlibrary loan. You just need to make an account first. And I do understand that we all have many accounts and passwords to remember, but this is an invaluable tool. I really have to stress that you don't want to be missing out on journal articles and books just because they're not immediately available. That being said, I do want to stress that Racer is not an instant service. It does take a few days. For journal articles, it can take between 3 and 7 days, and depending on delivery loads, books can take up to from a week to about 10 to 14 days. So this is not something you want to leave to the last minute. That's really important too. I know we all procrastinate, but just be aware of what you want to order, and that way when you need it, you'll just have it. If you want to let it collect dust for a little bit, that's fine, but you still want to be able to use it. So I just want to make you aware also of getting physical books from Georgian College. Last year I started collecting items for our university programs, and those will be cataloged in the college catalog. So you're going to want to check this website here, which is where you'll get directly to the Georgian College library website, so you can search for your anthropology books there. But also, even if we can't get at the physical books instantly from Sudbury, you still should be checking laurentian.concat.ca. That's our catalog as well. And I'm going to stress that because we have a growing number of ebooks in our collection, and those you can access instantaneously. It's a wonderful resource. You can search for ebooks specifically, so you're not wasting any time trying to dig out either physical books or ebooks. So now that you're aware of cataloging, or catalogs, I'm going to give you some searching tips for them. As you're going to find out later in this presentation, we are moving far beyond we're going to move beyond Google searching. Google uses something called natural language, and our library databases don't. So you cannot ask the catalog or the databases direct questions in the same way you will use Google. You do have to learn the language of searching properly. So when you're using the catalog in the beginning of your research, keep it as simple as possible. Don't try and get specific right away because you might get a little bit lost or not find books at all, which is really frustrating. But do use the advanced search function, and you can attach 2 or 3 keywords to begin at the most. Ideally, you'll even start with just 1 or 2. And when your book results are coming up, some of them will actually contain tables of contents, which might inspire you further to either narrow down your topic or add stuff to your body of your paper. A big key hint that I want to give you is to browse, browse, browse. You never know what you're going to find just by looking at titles and seeing what other scholars are writing about your topic. Basically, you want to inform yourself as broadly as you can to write the most informed and sound paper. So in the library catalogs, you can actually play around with different functions. So if you want just English books, which makes sense, you can limit it by English. You can select ebooks only, and if your professor prefers that you use books published after a certain year, you can actually plunk that information in. It will all be on the left-hand side of the catalog results, and that will probably cut down a lot of frustration as well. And if you do like a title, click on it and see what the subject the library classifies it under. As we're going to see in a couple of slides, subject searches will return more relevant results and is actually going to save you more time at the end of the day. So starting with these encyclopedias, which you can find right on our research guide under the Getting Started tab, this is what it's going to look like. There is a table of contents. It's not necessarily very friendly for searching, but these table of contents are quite specific and they're going to tell you exactly what they're about. So you're going to learn the most by browsing these chapters. So it's going to form the basis of your understanding of your topic, and it's a really great resource. I think it looks great, it's quite user-friendly, and that's where I would strongly suggest you start learning about your topic.